Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus full moon for the month of May tarot oracle reading. And Capricorn, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Capricorn, we all have a little bit of Capricorn in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart done, what house is Capricorn in? That will be where this energy is most likely to show up for you. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you are watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I've posted this, what was going on in your life back then? So we're going to begin that reading with the energy from the underlying energy at the bottom of the deck, and that is the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is talking about someone who's standing on the precipice of change. They're looking out into the horizon and they're wanting to expand their horizons. This energy, the wands are the element of fire, representing passion and action. So this could be someone who is doing business with someone across the seas, that type of energy. Quite often this reminds me of entrepreneur energy. There's something someone's passionate about. But this looks like it's sand, but it's actually water, and there's ships sailing by. So this person is saying, I want to move forward and I want to expand my whatever it is I'm doing, and I'm ready for it. And then the energy here with the two wands planted and his right hand on this one singular here. Sometimes for me that's an indication that you might be someone who was in a couple and you've now left the couple and are a single person, and you're passionate about moving forward in that energy. Then we have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is saying that you've gone through some major conflict, and if we just glance ahead here, there's definitely some very challenging energy here. So there's definitely some sort of conflict that is happening or has happened and maybe is continuing to happen. This energy represents cutthroat energy. This is saying that, whoever this person, if this is you, fighting whoever, because this is your internal forces. This is the underlying energy for your internal forces. You can tell it's your internal forces because you'll be asking questions like, what if I do this? What if they do that? What if they do that? Then what? Those kinds of questions. And I'm getting you're having to ask that quite a bit. There's definitely some conflict with others. And those are from the external forces. But internally, you may have inner conflict as well. And it could, if you're fighting a lot of external forces and there's a lot of conflict there, it could cause a lot of conflict within yourself as to what to do. And the swords are the element of air, and they represent your mental intelligence, your discipline of the mind, your ability to come to creative solutions for problems. So sometimes this can represent three versions of you. This could represent your subconscious mind, which is formed by the time you're 6 or 7, and your subconscious mind is basically your subconscious mind is when you're a baby to about that 6 or 7 years of age. And it is developed while you're, when you're a baby, especially in that first year, you are like a sponge, just sucking in your environment. Think about what a baby learns to do just alone in the first year. And so a lot of the subconscious mind is made up of the impressions from that environment, and also of the people who are in charge of your care, like whatever culture they are, religion they are, their philosophies. I'm not even going to try and say it. Philosophies and their how their values, all of that is absorbed until you're, and when you go to kindergarten, that's when you start getting more outside input of how other people live. So the subconscious mind is actually, most of us can't remember when we were a baby, and usually up until about kindergarten. So the subconscious mind, although it's heavily imprinted on us, It's actually the memories of other people regarding us. And so when we get triggered and we're in a situation where we're feeling really emotional, or we have to fight for ourselves, the subconscious mind is the first one that pops up. And the subconscious mind is probably the least reliable, because it's actually the thoughts of other people who were in charge of your care when you were younger. And then we have the unconscious mind. And a lot of people will say, yes, I'm a human being and I do have a soul. But from the soul's perspective, you are a soul traveling in a human body, and that's your vehicle to get around. And if your vehicle doesn't go where you want it to, you're going to get loud. And that's the kind of energy that the unconscious mind can start arguing with the subconscious and conscious mind and cause conflict. The conscious mind is what he has a handle on. It's like saying, okay, yesterday I went to the grocery store, I purchased these 3 items, it cost this much, then I stopped for coffee on the way home. And you remember that, and you fully, that was a conscious moment. So when the 3 minds are congruent with each other and you plug them into your heart, then you have your heart's desires. But if you're overthinking, you can't feel what your heart wants, because the heart isn't about thinking, it's about feeling. These swords are double-edged. One edge is your logic, and the other edge is the intuition. So you need to use both to have creative solutions. And if you plug into your heart, then you're actually following your authentic desires. And the way to do that is through meditation and prayer. Like, you need to quiet your mind down and say, listen, you're going to be quiet right now. I don't want to hear from you. And that is through meditation and prayer. And then that way you can feel with your intuition to and combine the logic and the intuition for a creative solution. And right now that appears to be what you're doing. This is your self-identity, how you feel about yourself right now, your image, your self-image. And so the hangman is hangs from the tree of knowledge because he wants to gain, he's hanging upside down because he wants to gain a perspective on the, from a totally different angle. He wants to look at things from each angle. And then when he has the answers that he needs, then he comes down from the tree and takes action. This is a really good energy to be in right now. This is saying you want balance, and you're aware that the situation requires, for the situation to be rectified, you need to see it from every angle. We have the Hierophant energy. So the Hierophant energy is talking about justice being brought down from the spiritual realm to the physical. And this is talking like the Hierophant has his right hand in the form of a blessing. So if you're on the right side of the truth, then it's going to be a blessing for you. And if you're not, it's going to mess up your plans, bottom line. So the Hierophant, for religious people, this could represent, the people that run your church, the gurus, the Pope, the Cardinal, the bishops, whoever is like at the top of your church. And for people who are spiritual, this would represent God himself. This would be, meditation and prayer to feel that energy and use get in touch with your heart desires to feel for God's energy and get the answers that way. And once that happens, that's brought down to the physical, and the Hierophant is responsible for making sure that gets handled in the physical courts, the legal systems of the earth, that kind of energy. So it's justice on that level, on both levels. And then we have communication from early life. So this is the King of Cups is representing someone who wants to offer a cup of love. This is someone who's very steady in their emotions. He's out in the middle of all this water that's rough. Rough water in tarot represents like volatile emotions, like chaos. But he's in the eye of the storm, and he's waiting for the perfect moment to deliver this cup of love. And so the King of Cups is the most likely to be in a traditional marriage, and also someone who is in a Like he would be someone that's very steady in a relationship. Also, the King of Cups can represent your paternal bloodline, and that type of energy, like a fatherly love as well. So, and I feel like this is your communication in early life. I feel like you had a strong connection to your father, and you felt very loved by your father. And then this is talking about your emotional foundation. So this card is representing a never-ending nightmare energy. It's talking about like the same old shift day after day, and you wake up and you might be having a reoccurring nightmare. Also though, this can represent, seeing that the Hierophant is here, is that you're in some sort of situation that requires justice, and you're having trouble getting justice. And so this can be prayer, meditation, to be able to reach the source energy, the Most High, and ask for assistance. And quite often the Holy Spirit will come down in the wee hours between 2 and 4 a.m. And this is when you might see in your dreams specifics about how to take consistent steps of action towards your goals. The Capricorn energy is represented by the glyph of a mountain goat with a fish tail. It's actually a dolphin tail. And you can imagine like the Capricorn energy is about climbing a mountain, basically very disciplined, step by step, consistent steps of action towards your goals. And that's kind of what you're being shown in your dreams here. And so this energy is possibly this person is trying to remember their dreams, or they've had an aha moment and they're like, oh my goodness, this is what I need to do. The quilt here has cosmic symbols on it, and that represents that you are totally supported by the universe, and that the universe has you covered. But it's saying you're probably going to have to get out of bed and leave your comfort zone so that you can put these consistent steps in action towards getting what you want to achieve. And then we have this devil energy. So the devil is temptation, and we have these two lovers. They're yoked to each other, and they're also chained to Saturn's box. And this energy is representing the dark side of Saturn, basically. And the Capricorn energy actually represents the light side of the Capricorn energy. Both are ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is about responsibility and digging deep. And it's also about the material matters. Like material matters. That's the devil cares about matter on the physical matter on planet Earth. And the Capricorn energy is in the element of Earth, and it's represented by the Pentacle, and it's the most mature of the three signs that represent the element of Earth. And it's talking about being able to see possibilities within challenges, and also being very responsible in how you carry out your steps of action towards any goal. And so this is kind of the dark side of Saturn energy, and Capricorn is the light side of the Saturn energy. Now, astrologically, what has happened is Neptune, which is ruled by the Pisces, or rules over Pisces. Both Neptune and Saturn rule over Pisces. And Saturn and Neptune came together at the end of February, beginning of March. Within 10 days of each other, they entered the sign of Aries. And Neptune left Pisces to do so, and it was in Pisces for 14 years. And now it's in the sign of Aries for 14 years. Neptune is about idealism. How do you approach life? How do you approach your relationships when it comes to business and all of that kind of energy? And so there's been a huge disconnect from the Pisces energy into the Aries energy. And so that is all about the new. And the Neptune energy, when it was in Pisces, was very happy there because that's its home. But moving into, you know, Pisces is a water sign. That's the senior executive. It's the last sign of the universe, or of the horoscope. And it moved into Aries, which is the newborn infant. So there's a very big difference in the energy. Aries is fire and aggressive. You think about a baby, what they have to learn in the first year, and how demanding a newborn infant, if you've ever had one in your home, you know they rule the house, and they're so little, but they rule. And it's that type of energy. Mars is a much more aggressive planet, and so that's what it's affecting the Capricorn energy a lot, because of Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn made that move at the beginning of March to join Neptune. So, and it will be there for at least 2.5 years. It's the Saturn energy. It's every 28 to 29 years it switches, and so this energy is very at the age of 28, and then again at the age of 56, and again in your 80s, and if you ever make it past 100. There can be a lot of energy coming in that is like needs to be cleaned up, what you didn't get done in the cycle before that. So yeah, this energy is very intense, and now that it's moved into Aries, it's it's even more intense. We just had a new moon on the 17th of April that moved into it left Pisces and entered Aries. So there's 6 planets in Aries, and now the moon had been in Aries, and now the moon is now moving into Scorpio as a full moon. So this energy is very intense, and it's all about doing things in a new way. So if you've been trying to do things the old way, especially if you're a Capricorn, you're going to find that probably it's not working the same. So because this card shows up, I'm explaining that part to you. If you want to know more about it, you can on this playlist there is the new moon. I just did those readings for each of the signs, and you can also go back and take a look at what was going on with the eclipse energy. And I do have the middle, the end, and the beginning, the middle, and the end of the month readings for each of the signs. So if you want to look at those playlists to find out more, if that interests you, you may be able to get a better grip on what's going on, because there's a lot with the Saturn energy changing. It's really big. But when the devil comes out, I always cover that with another card, because you're not going to get the truth from the devil, and he sends in a minion. So I want to see, who is he sending in? What's it about? Does God cover it? And we have God covers it. So you decide to go off to get out of the rough water. Now you could be the King of Cups energy wanting to give this cup of love to someone, or you could be the person that the king is interested in giving this cup of love to. And it could also represent your paternal line. Now this energy here is about going off to calmer waters with God. So the conveyor is taking you to be at peace with God. And so this is about putting your mind to rest, and just going and meditating again, being in this position. And this energy with the adult and the child quite often represents that there's something in your inner child needs healing. Something in your subconscious mind is causing an issue for you, possibly inner conflict. And it's something maybe that you can't remember, but it's there. And so this is wanting to heal that inner child and find out what happened, so that you can move forward in a stronger way. Because when there's that kind of energy, that makes you vulnerable to temptation and trying to figure out what happened. When we don't have the truth, it's really challenging to make strong decisions. And then we have this energy of the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups is talking about something is being celebrated, but these three people are not looking at each other. So these cups are about love, and most often about romantic love, but it can be love of anyone or anything, and it can also be love of something you love to do or something you love to be. So this energy, these three people are toasting each other, but no one's looking at each other. So they're toasting something that's happened, and not each other. Now, in many cultures, particularly in Europe, they have a huge suspicion there that if you toast someone and you don't look them in the eye, it causes you 7 years bad luck in your love life, and them. So they will like lose it if you look at me when I'm toasting you. Nobody wants 7 years bad luck. For me, this card quite often is gossip and slander, and sometimes a third-party energy in a relationship. Other readers I know read it as a harvest or, a celebration that's for the better. Let's see. I always like to give them the benefit of the doubt, but following these two cards, I feel like, it doesn't look so good. So there's some sort of energy here, this never-ending nightmare, this needing to heal something because the devil's trying to tempt you and you make a strong choice. I'm gonna go pray and meditate and get closer to God. If this guy's hanging around me, I need to get some good guidance here. I need to go to the top. And this energy is talking about that somebody's celebrating something that's happened here and causing you this energy. But the Hierophant is here to bring in a blessing for you of justice. Now, let's keep going here and see. Now, in context with these cards now, this could represent you being in so much conflict where you live and people making sure it's that way that you have no choice but to move on. And this is talking about, the Page of Wands. The pages would work for the king and queen when they were very young, generally around the age of 7 to 14. You have to remember back in those days, the life expectancy was like about half of what it is now. So people started work early, but they would be responsible for running errands and communication within the court, in the palace walls. And then if they were good at it and they were still there when they were 21, then they could be considered for knighthood as long as they could afford their own horse. So this energy is talking about the page that there's some sort of communication coming through, some sort of information, and it's talking about his element is the wand. And so this is about passion and fire, as we said here. And this also represents, because it comes from the tree, ancestors, the deep roots, and the descendants, the offshoots. This this Page of Wands, think of a young, enthusiastic, masculine energy. He's ready to face the world and tackle everything, and he's got a feather in his cap, and he's dressed, and he's ready to go. And he wants to explore the mysteries of the world and go on adventures and learn everything he can. And he really admires his wand. His wand, he's looking up to it. And so you have to remember that sometimes the information that the Page of Wands brings in he quite often is thinking with his little head instead of his big head. That's how he is, and that's the energy he's in. So take his information with a grain of salt. And he sometimes is very distracted. And so this, in the old days, these would always be male figures, but remember that any of the figures in the tarot are actually archetypes. So the kings and the male figures, they could be actually females in their masculine energy, and vice versa for the queens. So this energy, there's some sort of communication coming in. In the old days, it would always be by person, but this could very easily be a phone call, a text message. This could be an email. Maybe you get something in the post if your mail hasn't been redirected. Sometimes when this energy is involved, you don't receive the communication you're supposed to. And one way to do that is to redirect your mail behind the scenes, that type of energy. I'm picking that up quite a bit here. This energy is like trying to avert communication here so that you don't find out what happened here. That's that type of energy. Some things here that this energy doesn't want you to know, but God's got you covered. And so this energy, the communication could also be a message on social media, or maybe you see an event and you go to that event and you run into the people that maybe you should meet or shouldn't that might be involved in redirecting your mail. that kind of energy. So you have to be discerning about the information coming in. As I said, the Page of Wands has his mind elsewhere quite a lot of the time. And this also can represent an energy of, you know, you need to kind of keep an eye on what's happening at the top in the news, even 5 minutes a day, just so that you can understand what's going on at the top. Whatever's going on at the top of the pyramid is definitely going to affect everybody, and it represents the energy to a lesser degree underneath. So this energy is talking about some sort of communication coming in, or some missing communication in this case. And so there could be some, if you feel like you're missing mail, you probably are. But we don't know why, but it has something to do when you were a child. All right, so that's coming through pretty loud and clear. And then we have, oh my goodness, we have the shift disturber. So the shift disturber is an energy that comes in, and this is a walking contradiction. The shift disturber, we don't quite know, but look at it, it has something to do with this energy here. These two swords being planted here, definitely. This is the reason why this person is doing what they're doing, which is pretty good to be able to see that, but it's pretty apparent here in this reading. So we're getting clarity because the shift disturber has been showing up quite a bit in the readings. Now this is someone, he's a walking contradiction because he's planted two swords, he's sneaking away with 5, he's looking over his shoulder because he has to, and he's on his tiptoes sneaking around in broad daylight. So if this is a thief, he's not a thief in the night. This would be, you know, a paper pusher. Words are, you know, our thoughts are expressed through words. And sometimes those are documents, and those are, you know, on paper. So this could be someone, a paper pusher sitting at his desk in broad daylight, involved in white collar crimes such as money laundering, forgery, identity theft, that type of energy. So, and the thing is, he's not looking forward, he's looking back at the past while he's moving forward. So he's not looking where he's going. He's counting on this energy, on this happening. And look how he's carrying these swords. Now these swords are very sharp. Like, who carries swords like this? It just bothers me. It's like, you know, he's not looking where he's going. If he trips, he could literally lose his hands. These are so sharp. And if he's this dangerous with his own energy, how careful do you think he's going to be with yours? And this is in your partnerships, commitments, and spouse energy. So, this is like really not very great energy in this reading here. So the Hierophant is here though. This could have something to do with your paternal bloodline as well, like, you know, cousins, you know, uncles, you know, that kind of energy. It could be involved in this energy. And then we, because this is talking external forces, and my throat is tightening up. Like, I did not have a cold when I started this energy, and generally my cat will come and join me and want to sit with me when I do readings. But when this card shows up, she's like, no, she's in the other room. She's like, no, thank you. I don't like that energy at all. And so we have Justice coming in, and this is going to be a major transition in this energy. So Justice, she's wielding the sword of justice, and this is representing the thin veil between the spiritual and the physical realm. And her right foot is forward, and she's ready to wield this sword. This is redemption from karma and or not being distributed. So justice is about karma. A lot of people think is punishment, but karma is actually cause and effect from your actions and also your inactions. And so you could have direct karma from something you do or something you don't do. Like, you know that this shifty energy is going on and someone innocent is being hurt, and maybe you're even in a position of authority and you let it happen, or you cause it to happen. You could have indirect karma, which is when you are associated with people that are doing this, and you don't do anything about it again, or you are it's your ancestors and they couldn't clean up their mess and before they left the realm, and now it gets put on the bloodline. So you may be breaking generational curses here if you move forward in a strong way. And then we have the karmic spaces. Like, this is really like, it's like my throat is just like closing up. And this is when people really want you to be quiet about what's going on. So that there could be fear here. It could be fear driven, the reason why you're not speaking up. But there definitely is transition here. Now, this is coming from the external forces. So I feel that this is you here that this is happening to, but the external forces now is what we're talking about. And that the question isn't at that point, what if, it's what the EF happened. And here we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is representing someone that's, you know, a master of whatever they do. The King of Swords represents people who use their words, and whether that be written or verbal, to earn their living, rather than someone like who's hands-on. And so this energy can be, it's your mental intelligence and your, you know, discipline of your mind. This quite often represents politician energy. They speak for a living, and they, you know, they're part of, they create the laws, and etc. People who are in a position of authority. So the King of Swords, this energy is, you know, it could be a king, and it could be a president, a prime minister, someone in the Senate, the Congress. It could be a minister in the federal government, you know, someone who has some clout. This can also represent legal people, like court, Supreme Court, head prosecutors, that type of energy. It can represent an author, a best-selling author in the New York Times bestseller list. It could represent a surgeon that's at the top of his craft or her craft. This could represent, let's see what else, you know, influencers on social media, people who speak for a living, someone who's an inventor, or, you know, someone who is doing research and they find the cure for something and they win the Nobel Peace Prize. It's like something along that lines. The King of Swords is very much aware that words are very powerful, and they can either elevate or they can actually be used as weapons. And also they are aware that if you give your word, actions speak louder than words. So if you don't follow through with action, your words are useless. And this is in higher learning. And then we have, okay, the wounded warrior energy. So what it's saying is you've managed to overcome all of this energy by your sheer determination. The Capricorn energy, climbing that mountain, sliding down, because that damn dolphin tail is not getting a good grip. And so it's a very disciplined, very responsible energy. I have to do what I want to stay on the right path. I need to take the right actions. This is about the actions that you've taken in the past, and you've managed to land 8 wands. And despite all this energy being, this conflict being directed your way, and so this energy is saying you need to, he's leaning hard on the 9th wand, and this one is close to your heart. You only have one more to go after this, but he has a headache. You know, his head is bandaged, and it's talking about, you know, exhaustion setting in. And so it's like, okay, and this is in your career and reputation. So this can say that your career and reputation, these people have gone out of their way to damage your career and reputation, so no one of any authority will listen to what you have to say. And it can also represent a lot of authority figures being involved in this energy. And so we have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords, now that we have some information coming in, and this could be a breath of fresh air. So, aha, I have it, eureka, that type of energy. So the Page of Swords is coming in, and this is representing, he logically understands what the question is, so he's not focused on his element like the other pages would. He's actually looking away from it because he wants to think outside of the box and use his intuition to come to a creative solution with his logic. This also always reminds me of someone who's golfing and about to take a swing. This energy, golf is a very mental sport, and I feel like, a lot of times, politicians and people that are the heads of corporations, etc., when they will go golfing with people, and of course it's much more pleasant than being in a building, and the golf courses are beautiful, but you can learn a lot about someone golfing 18 holes with them, I would imagine. I'm not a golfer myself, but it's a very mental sport. And so like if someone has a really bad hole in the very first hole, and the hole, your score is done basically already, you could spiral downward if you don't discipline your mind, and you could end up throwing your club and freaking out or whatever. People, after they do 18 holes with you, can tell, are you a good loser? Are you a good winner? Are you able to have a really bad hole and then handle that stress really well and get a hole in one the next one? It's that kind of energy. So this is talking about in blessings that you have to discipline your mind to be able to, and your emotions, so that you make strong choices to move towards what you want in life. And then we have Ace of Cups. So this is a gift from the divine. I feel there's some sort of energy coming towards you, and this quite often represents, it could be a person that's coming into your life that is really going to empower you, but this can also speak about just God's love and divine love, and the love of something that you love to do, and that maybe you love to see justice in the world. And so this energy is talking about it's overflowing, and you will feel love one way or another, whether that's a divine partner. Quite often this does mean that some divine partner is coming in, maybe to replace the sneaky energy, but that's not the main reason of this. This is more about overcoming this conflict that's happening in your life. There's a lot of energy here. So we're going to clarify this. If you're satisfied and I have a good grip on what this is about, I'm leaving the reading now. Thank you for your time and energy. Whoa, this card wants to come out, so I'm not even going to bother shuffling. Please give it a like and comment if you receive value from it. Also, consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. I would be honored. I'm going to clarify now for those of you that want clarification. That this card jumped out, and this is the card that wants to come out. So this is an oracle that I started back in 2007, and in 2020 I completed 64 paintings. I'm an artist, and these paintings are on my website, talesfromthevector.com, and the numbers on these cards represent the order that they are in on that website. I will, in the description box below, put the numbers of the cards in the order they appear here, as well as the information for my website. So if you want to get further clarity from my oracle, I'm working on bringing it out, but I haven't had a chance to play with it. I've had it out and about at my seminars when I used to teach seminars, and I've had it at psychic fairs for over 4 years, but it wasn't complete. And so it's very different now that all the paintings are done, and I have the time and to make it a priority to work on this on this channel, so that I can get in touch with more people, so I can see how the cards work in action. I already have a lot of information about the big dragons. It's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. You might enjoy taking a look at the pictures. They say a picture paints 1,000 words. It might give you more clarity. So this is the death card is transition. So in my oracle, the cards that are vertical are the major arcana. Basically, they're the maestros of this deck. And vertical energetically, when you have stripes like that are vertical, when things are standing vertical, it gives a strong energy. And when they're horizontal, it breaks up the energy and it causes weaknesses. Like when people look at horizontal stripes, it breaks up the energy. So the horizontal cards are the medicine, or the what's causing the issue. And my vertical cards are about the maestros that give you the advice. So transition, this is saying definitely this is in transition. You are about to make some sort of major transition. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to be moving to other, to across the world or anything, but it could mean that even in your mind you're changing location, or perhaps someone that's on the other side of the world is coming towards you, that type of energy. We have the moon, and so we do have a full moon, and that's what this reading is about. That full moon is in Scorpio. I forgot to, before I had everybody leave off, I forgot to mention the full moon energy, so I will mention it now in case you're still here and you need to leave. So the full moon is in Scorpio, and on the other side, opposing the full moon is the Taurus energy. So Taurus and Scorpio energy. Taurus is about matter, physical possessions, personal values, that type of energy. Whereas Scorpio energy is let's blow it up and destroy it, and then let's see what happens and put it all back together in a better way or a different way. It's about shared possessions. And the problem with that energy, and this is transition, and this transition here, this could be saying this is someone across the waters from you that is involved in this transition. And it could be that you want to move or actually relocate. So this energy, the Scorpio energy, is about shared possessions. It's about destruction of form. Taurus energy wants things to be a certain way, luxurious, that type of energy. And this is also about transformation here. So we have the sun is the sign opposing your you on the chart of the horoscope is always directly affected by the energy. So when the moon is in Scorpio, Taurus really feels it. And it's really talking about this conflict in between the two I want things to be the same. I want things to be lined up. I want it matters to me. And like physical stuff matters. And Taurus energy wants to feel secure and safe in like that I have what I need to pay my bills, that I have a secure home, that type of energy. And Scorpio doesn't care about that so much. So there's this conflict between the two, and it's a conflict within yourself as well sometimes about wanting to move on, but maybe it's going to cause you to not have as much security if you do so. And also this is a strong desire to express your feelings about this, and especially to your significant other or to the world, even making an announcement. And look at my throat is just like, it's just crazy. This is not being like, it's just I like this reading, I'm fighting to get the words out. So I'm just going to take a deep breath here. There we go. So this energy is saying like, this devil energy is encouraging you to blurt it all out and be all emotional and make a fool of yourself so no one believes you. And the Taurus energy is saying, no, we have to stay secure here. You might want to listen to Taurus in this one. So this is saying, don't be very controlled, be disciplined in your actions right now, because there's going to be this desire to be dramatic. And that basically is what this is about. Taurus wants form, and Scorpio wants to blow it up and see what happens. It's just the way it is. So we have, this is like the Taurus energy is wanting the world, basically. And so the neutrality of being able to leave what you are, being not so concerned about the material possessions, that you're never able to move forward in a stronger way. Like Scorpio, there's a reason sometimes for destroying things and then rebuilding them, because then you are able to build it even better. So the Sagittarius is kind of where you're at. Like, I feel like you are ready to leave the situation that you're in. You're ready to have closure. You want the Hierophant to bring this justice down already. Let me move forward in my life. And this is about wanting to go on a new adventure and expand instead of feeling like you're always having to deal with this same old shift. that's happening here. You're getting angry about it is what's coming up. And I feel like there's definitely some people on the father's side that are involved in this energy. And this is talking about having, when someone's angry, it can motivate you, but the problem is it's very acidic. And anger is the gift that keeps on giving. You pass it down from one generation to the other. And so this is something on the paternal line in that regard. And the people that, they're angry because you're not doing what they want you to do so that they can just have what it is that's yours and get on with it already. It's that kind of energy. They're mad at you because you are actually standing up for yourself and fighting for what is meant to be yours that they're trying to take. It's kind of funny. It's funny, but it's sad. So the third eye chakra energy is just talking about using your third eye, using your insight. And that could come to you in the form of dreams. It could be aha moments. You could be getting kind of like, oh, that's what it's about kind of energy. Like this reading could give you a lot of clarity, I feel. And then this is talking about, it's something that happened in your childhood. And for whatever reason, this is interesting because what's coming up is the DNA. And you know, there's the mitochondria in the cell. The mitochondria are from the mother's side, from the maternal side, and there's something about if you had a DNA test that it would give more clarity to this situation in some way. And so I don't know what that is, like it's because that DNA that's passed down from the maternal side with regard to the mitochondria is actually only passed down from mother to daughter, not to mother to son. And so it's passed down from the mother to the daughter and their daughter and their daughter and their daughter. And if it doesn't get passed down to a daughter, then it ends there. And but there's something about that with the paternal line. I don't know. It's something about that. So this is about having harmony in your life and being able to speak your truth. And then this is talking about worldly and otherworldly desires. So this is talking about other people wanting not only what you have on the physical level, but wanting what you have on a spiritual level. Ugh, that's nasty energy. And of course, they always come out when there's a full moon looming ahead. We're not that far from the full moon. The full moon is it's the 26th or 27th that this is out. So it's going to be, I was trying to get this out because I could feel this full moon energy just pulling. And so this could be, we're starting to feel this full moon energy. And that's when this type of energy always comes out to play. They like to dance around the full moon and, do their thing. But it's not working. If they think it's working, it's a trap. And I feel like this energy coming in is a little bit unreliable. There's some deception here. There's a third-party energy possibly here. And this energy is wanting you to be, like, look at this moon energy right here. It's wanting you to believe that they're more powerful than you, and just ask for Jesus to come in and help and sit with you, and you'll be fine. The hangman is the balance there. Again, finding that balance. Look at across from here, and this is in your partnerships, commitments, and so there could be some sort of energy coming towards you. And it would be a breath of fresh air for you. And it would be able to empower you to be able to get through this situation. And I feel like some communication, if you've had a situation where you've ever had your mail redirected, that happens sometimes. That's one way for people to keep information from you. And there's a lot of sneaky ways to have your mail redirected. It's just one of those things, and there's some sort of deception in the mail, coming up in the mail, or some communication coming in, And it could have to do with this energy here. And this is a partner, and I feel like this is someone that used to be someone that you were involved with. This energy is what you need to get clarity on. Interesting. And I just want to point out that if I have a card coming up that has a horoscope sign on it, I'm not talking about an individual, I'm talking about the energy of the sign. But in your particular reading, if it follows through, use your intuition on that. All right, so we're going to keep going here. We have the ego. So yeah, someone has a very big ego. They feel that they have been led to believe that the devil is going to be stronger than God's plan. So that's not going to work out very well, like a bat out of hell. So there may have been some sort of, there could be some sort of initiation energy going on here. So just the ego is like, keep your ego in check. Recognize that if it's God's plan that this person is to have this energy, that no matter what these people do, eventually it catches up with them. And I feel like if this can represent like a lot of this energy is like public figure. And so this could be very public when this deception comes out. It could be at a very high level. Because we have an emperor here. And it's really interesting, the emperor energy, I always have, it's a very strong energy. It's someone that everybody looks up to. They're really responsible, high up, and they're the alpha male energy. And they have the qualities of all the four kings, and they have a lot of authority, and they're in a position of power. But I have had several readings now coming up where the emperor has not been sitting upright. And so there could be that kind of energy. It's coming in again on this reading. It's been coming in for about like the last week in particular. And I feel like it might have something to do with that Uranus has moved into the sign of Gemini a couple days ago. And it's going to be there for about 8 years. And the last time Uranus was in Gemini was 1941 to 1949, when we had the energy of World War II happening. And I feel like this is like talking about on a bigger scale, like something going on in the world. And like, look at, where we have a lot of that energy here again, what we're dealing with in the world. And I didn't really get a chance to look at it, but apparently there was an attempt to assassinate the President of the United States of America again. It's such sad energy, like, I don't know. So this is like, I haven't had a chance to look at it, what happened there. I know there was a big convention, and it was supposed to unite people, and then this happened. I think all I did get out of it was, like, quickly when I had a chance to look at it, is that there was gunshots, and that the president and the vice president are safe, and everybody was safe. A police officer was shot, but he was wearing a bulletproof vest, and it saved his life. So, thank God for that. And, whoa, like, that's the type of energy that, Uranus moving into Gemini energy is like shocking events happening. And like, I'm so, like, say a prayer for this, this energy, like, this has to stop. Like, this isn't the way to handle, differences of opinion. And it's like all the people at this convention getting together to be together, and normally they're fighting each other in the house, and they're politicians and they have different views, and they were coming together to unite. And then this happened. So it was like kind of like, I'm going to look into it when I have time later today, and just say a prayer that everybody's safe, and for that police officer that was shot, thank God he was wearing that bulletproof vest. But that's the kind of weird energy that we're in, and it's not pleasant energy. So I've been having this coming up in my readings, and so I feel like maybe that's like, I've had this bad feeling, and now it's kind of like, thank goodness that, and the people that have the courage to be able to keep moving forward, and despite having this energy there's so much conflict, and we have judgment coming in from God. And yeah, like that's like, you know, thank God everybody was safe. Not one person, you know, everybody came out of it safe. Terrified probably in some, you know, it's gonna cause a lot of trauma, but not one person, you know, everybody survived it. And thank God that police officer was wearing that bulletproof vest, and the president and the vice president were safely taken away. And oh my goodness, it was just a lot. So this is, you know, God, like when God has a plan for people, and for the planet, you're not going to be able to change it if you're, you know, even if you're hanging out with this guy here, you're not going to change that plan. And people need to start realizing that, you know, like, and this is, look at the sun is shining on this. This is really good to see after having that happen. It really shook me up. I'm thinking, like, what's wrong with people? Good. Yeah. So this is like, thank God. It's saying God is here. that God's plan rules, and that there's love in, you know, love is the answer, not doing horrible things like that. So yeah, I feel like the last 3 or 4 days, this energy has been coming up, and I'm like, oh. And then I'm going to look into that a bit more. But from what I could see, the president gave a speech after. I wasn't able to have time to listen to it. So God bless America, you know, and all the people that were there, and that everybody's safe. Anyway, we're going to move on. I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. And give it a like and comment. I hope it's given you some information on your own personal venture. And consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. Bye for now.